So today's video is going to be about my experience with scammers, or I've really only had one that pursued when I first started. So it was one of my first commissions that I got when I started back in 2012 or something, I think it might have been. And it was a commission for a white fox. If I can find some pictures on it, then I'll post it, pictures here or something. It was a white wolf, sorry, and it was a character designed by this person who contacted me on DeviantArt when that was still a thing. So they were from Sweden, I think they were, or Netherlands possibly, one of those areas. And so they wanted a white fox with these green markings and some wings on it, so it was quite an extravagant doll, and a lot of materials that had to be used for it. So they sent me a couple of reference images. I always take the payment up front before I start any work, so I either take a non-refundable 10% deposit before I start anything, so at least that covers materials, and then if they need payment plans, then I take it until they're paid off. It's usually 2 months, and I only send the doll once it's been fully paid off. So they paid up front in full first through PayPal. And I actually only take PayPal payments just because there's a little bit more protection when it comes to things like that, like chargebacks. So I only take PayPal payments even now. And so they paid me up front in full, which was totally fine and dandy. And I finished up the commission. We had great contact. Always responded to me. I then sent the doll off, and a good little tip is it's what actually got me my money back. When you're sending anything off, make sure you keep all of the correspondence and all of your receipts, and also make sure you are protected by PayPal or something like that. But yes, I had all my receipts, all my correspondence, everything linked back to their address and their emails. So that was very lucky in my sense that I actually remembered to do all that, just in case. So once the doll was delivered, I always get signature on delivery as well, so the person actually has to sign for the package and it's not just left on the doorstep. So that way it's in the system that someone has accepted the delivery at that address that you sent it off to. So that's another thing that will back up your side of the story. So as soon as the doll arrived and I got it was delivered, I had a chargeback processed through my PayPal, which means this person, with PayPal you can put in a claim that you didn't purchase this item, or there's a couple of categories that you could choose, but the one that this person chose was that they didn't actually buy this doll. So what happens with the chargeback through PayPal is the funds are withdrawn out of your balance, and it's sort of held in a separate account until PayPal has gone through the investigation process and determined who is the person that's basically telling the truth. So in the meantime, you have to sort of gather all of your information and all of your evidence, and forward it to them. So because I had their address and their correspondence and everything else that was involved, I sent it all along, and their transaction history, and I sent that all through to PayPal. And it took a couple of, I think it was like 2 months or something for it to actually get processed and investigated properly. But in the meantime, I had contacted other people because I saw on this person's DeviantArt that they had commissioned other people to do things. So I had contacted these other artists and just asked them if they've had any issues with this buyer, and this buyer did the same thing to all these other artists that they commissioned. So what they've done is they've bought a whole bunch of commissions from a lot of different artists, and then at the same time has made a chargeback claim to get their money back, basically, and get some free art. So scam people. So fast forward to a couple of months later, PayPal actually found the case in my favor because I had all that evidence, and there was obviously multiple transactions for the same sort of thing in their account. So it was very clear that they were trying to just get their money back and get things for free. So PayPal awarded me in their favor, and I got my money back. And essentially, when there's a chargeback, the person that doesn't win has to pay any fees or any investigation fees, processing fees. That person has to pay for it. So if you lose, you have to pay for it. If you win, the other person has to pay for it. So this person had to pay for all of those investigation fees. So that was pretty lucky in my behalf. So I had contacted this person and asked them why, you know, what's going on, and then never heard from them again. I do know that they were still active on DeviantArt, because I kept an eye on them to make sure they weren't trying to do that to someone else. But yes, they were still active on DeviantArt, but I'm not sure whether they tried to commission other people or not. But I did put a little warning out. I posted a picture of what I'd made, and just basically called them out for what they've done, so they don't actually do it to anybody else and everybody's aware of it. But that's generally the only thing that's happened so far to me. I've been pretty lucky in that sense that nobody's tried to do a chargeback since then. But it's always good practice to keep all of your data and all of your evidence. Keep all of it. It's very important in case something like this ever happens again. Just make sure you have all of your correspondence and everything. And you know, there's multiple different ways that people can try and scam you as well. So if something looks suspicious or too good to be true, then it usually is. Just be pretty wary, because it's a pretty easy way to get your money back, and you know, it's not always guaranteed that PayPal will side in your favor, because they usually take the buyer's side. So I'm pretty lucky with that. So yeah, that's pretty much it. If you want to know anything more, do let me know in the comments, and yeah, if anything's experienced like that as well, let me know, because the more we share this sort of stuff, the more that more knowledge is out there, and more people will be avoiding getting scammed by people. So yeah, anyway, thanks to my patrons for the support. If you want to go support me on Patreon, and then head over there, there's a whole lot of different tiers that you can choose from. You can also head to my shop at Creatures of Nat, and you can also check me out on Instagram and Facebook at Creatures of Nat too. So yeah, that's it for me today, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye. We are too lucky.